He was a voice from the street before he became a story on national TV. Jourdan Blue did not arrive on America's Got Talent as a polished industry product. Long before studio cameras and reaction shots, his stage was a corner of Bourbon Street in New Orleans, where neon lights bounced off wet pavement and most people were too distracted to listen. Night after night, he sang there, pushing his voice over the noise of traffic, crowds, and bar music. To tourists, he was background sound. To himself, he was fighting for rent, for food, and for the tiny family he was trying to support. When he eventually stepped onto the AGT stage, the contrast was staggering. Instead of passersby, he faced a silent room, a panel of judges, and millions watching from home. The song he chose, Breakeven, wasn't just a hit single. It was a reflection of a life held together by fragile pieces. As he sang, the room shifted. Judges leaned in, the crowd hushed, and for a few powerful minutes, a street singer became the emotional center of a primetime show. When the golden buzzer hit, confetti showered him. But what viewers didn't yet know was that this moment was built on years of hardship, and that the story behind the voice was far heavier than one televised celebration could ever show. The golden buzzer looked like a miracle, but it didn't erase what came before. Every season, AGT sells the golden buzzer as a life-changing moment, and for Jourdan Blue, it certainly felt like one. Yet, behind the triumphant slow motion and swelling music lay a history that couldn't be neatly edited into a short pre-performance package. As a teenager, Jourdan had faced homelessness, addiction, and nights where he didn't know if he would wake up again. In interviews, he later described how he OD'd at one point, a near-fatal collapse that forced him to confront the path he was on and the people he might leave behind. It was his grandfather who stepped in, offering not only a roof, but structure, support, and a second chance. By the time he auditioned for AGT, Jourdan wasn't trying to become famous. He was trying to prove to himself that he had survived for a reason. The show highlighted some of this, but only in fragments. Viewers saw a few seconds of his past, a few phrases about struggle. What they felt, though, was something deeper, a man singing like he'd already stared down the worst and walked away. The golden buzzer made him a headline. His history made him unforgettable. And that contrast between polished narrative and raw reality would become a key part of why fans felt so strongly about what happened next. Overnight, he became a phenomenon online, but offline, life stayed brutally real. After his Golden Buzzer episode aired, Jourdan's performance rocketed across social media. Clips of his audition drew millions of views. Comment sections filled with people calling him the winner already and the voice that saved this season. Strangers tagged each other under reposts, saying, "You have to hear this guy." On the surface, it looked like the perfect modern success story, a street singer discovered and elevated by television. But behind that viral moment, Jourdan still had the same responsibilities he'd had the week before. He still had a young child to support. He still relied on busking income. Fame doesn't immediately pay the bills, and TV exposure doesn't magically erase years of financial insecurity. So while his name was trending, he reportedly returned to New Orleans and continued performing live, sometimes late into the night, doing exactly what he'd been doing before the cameras ever found him. To many viewers, this is the first shocking truth when they dig deeper, that even with a golden buzzer, life does not instantly transform. While fans rewatched his clip on YouTube, Jourdan was still doing what he always had, singing for survival, only now under the weight of a nation's expectations layered on top of everything else. By the time the live shows arrived, the stakes were higher, and so was the pressure. The early audition rounds of AGT are emotional,
but the live shows are unforgiving. In that environment, every note is magnified and every misstep is dissected in real time by millions. Jourdan entered that phase carrying not just his own history but also the immense pressure of being labeled a frontrunner.
Reports around the season mentioned how grueling the schedule could be. Rehearsals, camera blocking, constant travel, interviews, social media chatter, all for a performance that might last less than 2 minutes on screen. At one point, coverage hinted that he went on stage while feeling physically unwell, with some outlets citing food-related illness or exhaustion as a factor. He still chose to perform. On television, most viewers simply saw a rendition that felt less effortless, a voice pushing through strain rather than gliding. Some online comments questioned whether he had lost it or was crumbling under pressure. What those viewers couldn't see was the reality of trying to carry years of trauma, current financial stress, and the weight of national expectation all at once. For Jourdan, those live shows were not a game. They were another life-or-death feeling test, just on a bigger stage. And the cost of pushing himself to show up, even when his body and mind were depleted, is an invisible part of his story that shocked many fans once they learned the context. He didn't walk away with the trophy, and that's when fans started using the word robbed. When the final votes were tallied and the winner announced, Jourdan Blue's name was not the last one called. He finished third, behind rapper Chris Turner and season champion Jessica Sanchez. For most contestants, third place on a massive show like AGT is a dream outcome. But for a huge number of viewers who had pegged Jourdan as the heart of the season, the result landed like a gut punch. Social media feeds lit up with posts insisting he should have won, threads dissecting the vote, and comments accusing the system of overlooking the contestant with the most emotional resonance. Some fans argued that his story and artistry carried more lasting impact than anyone else's. Others suggested that the voting format tends to favor certain styles or narratives that fit more comfortably within mainstream expectations. Jourdan himself responded with composed gratitude, congratulating others and staying away from public complaints. That quiet acceptance only deepened the attachment among supporters, who now saw him as not just talented but gracious in disappointment. The phrase "lost star" in his case doesn't refer to failure. It refers to the feeling fans had that, somewhere between emotion and outcome, the show's result and the audience's emotional favorite didn't match. Then AGT moved on, and that's when many fans suddenly realized how fast TV forgets. The next season arrives, new auditions roll in, new viral clips dominate YouTube's homepage, and just like that, last season's stories begin to fade from the mainstream spotlight. Jourdan Blue did not vanish, but the show's narrative did what it always does. It shifted to the next batch of hopefuls.
For casual viewers who don't actively follow contestants after the finale, it can feel like certain names simply evaporate once the credits roll. In Jourdan's case, that created a strange dissonance. Here was a singer whose voice had moved millions, whose backstory had reduced people to tears, and yet for many, the question quietly became, wait, what happened to him? Those who took the time to look discovered that he was still present online, still sharing music, still engaging with the people who stuck with him. But the gap between the intensity of the AGT moment and the relative quiet afterward shocked some fans who expected him to be everywhere by now. That's one of the most revealing aspects of his journey, the realization that a huge TV platform can introduce a talent to the world, but it doesn't guarantee that the world will keep paying attention. While the cameras moved on, he quietly started building the career he always wanted. Beyond the fleeting chaos of competition, Jourdan began focusing on what he could actually control: the music. Local and national coverage has pointed to him working with producers, writing original songs, and shaping what could become a debut project that reflects his real life, not just the edited version seen on TV. He has continued to perform live, often in more intimate settings where he can interact directly with listeners, far from the pressure of judges' buzzers and countdown clocks.
That slower, more organic path is less dramatic than a confetti-filled season finale, but it's far more sustainable. At the same time, he's used his story to connect with people facing similar struggles, from young performers trying to break through to individuals fighting their way out of addiction or homelessness. Instead of letting AGT be the high point he never surpasses, Jourdan seems determined to make it one chapter in a much larger narrative. For AGT fans who circle back to check in on him, this is often the most surprising truth. He's not stuck in that TV moment. He's actively trying to grow beyond it. The real lost star isn't him. It's what we forget once the show is over. In the end, Jourdan Blue's story is less about disappearance and more about what gets lost in the churn of reality television. He is still here, still singing, still working, but for many viewers, the emotional intensity they once felt watching him is buried under new seasons, new clips, new trends. That gap between what he meant in the moment and how little most people know about where he is now is what truly shocks fans when they finally ask, "Whatever happened to Jourdan Blue?" The answer is simple and complicated at the same time. He went back to doing what he has always done: fighting, singing, surviving, just without a weekly primetime slot. If there is a truth that shocked AGT fans, it's this: a golden buzzer and a third-place finish don't guarantee a fairy tale. They offer an opening. The rest still has to be built, day by day, by someone who once sang on the street and now has to prove, to an industry and to an audience with short memories, that his voice is worth hearing again and again, long after the confetti has been swept away. His story isn't just about one singer. It exposes how the whole machine really works. When you zoom out from Jourdan Blue's journey, you start to see a bigger pattern hiding behind the lights and logos of modern talent shows. These programs promise life-changing moments, and sometimes they deliver them, but they also compress real human lives into small, edited clips designed to fit a season arc. In Jourdan's case, millions saw him at his most vulnerable and most triumphant, but only for a few carefully chosen minutes at a time. His years of homelessness, addiction, recovery, street performances, and fatherhood were turned into a narrative beat between commercial breaks. That doesn't make the emotion fake, but it does make it incomplete. Once the season ends, television has to move on, but the people at the center of these stories can't just cut to the next episode of their lives. They still have to live with the weight of everything that came before and after. Jourdan's Lost Star label, when you really examine it, says more about us than about him. It reflects how quickly audiences consume and discard even the most moving stories. It shows how fans can feel deeply connected in the moment, yet rarely follow through when the cameras are gone. His path reveals an uncomfortable truth. Reality TV can introduce us to extraordinary people, but it's up to us whether their names fade into a memory or stay part of the conversation. In the end, the real question isn't what AGT did, it's what we do with his story now. Jourdan Blue's time on America's Got Talent has already been written into the show's history. The busker from Bourbon Street, the golden buzzer moment, the emotional performances, the third-place finish. But his life didn't stop when the credits rolled, and his value as an artist was never defined by a trophy. He is still out there, working, writing, performing, and trying to build a future for himself and his family with the same voice that once stopped a studio crowd in its tracks. The truth that shocked AGT fans isn't some hidden scandal or secret conspiracy. It's the realization that even the most powerful TV moments are fragile. They only last if people choose to remember, support, and keep listening. Jourdan's journey forces us to rethink what success really looks like. Is it a single televised victory, or is it the quiet, consistent decision to keep creating when the world has moved on? As viewers, we cheered when the confetti fell. The harder, more honest test is whether we still care now that the stage is gone and only the music is left.
Jourdan Blue did his part. He showed up, told the truth through his voice, and carried his past into the spotlight. What happens next, at least in part, is up to us. Whether we let him stay a lost star in our memory or recognize him as an artist still writing the most important chapters of his story.